I'm Andy Ockershausen. Welcome back to our town. It's Wednesday night at 10, and the question is, do you know where your daughter is? Because we have 2 or 3 of Washington's leading purveyors of nightlife, and we're going to talk about Washington nightlife, what it's been, what it is now, and what it's going to be. And 2 of the gentlemen here with us this evening are legends. One is fast becoming a legend, but a man who probably needs no introduction to millions of women under the age of 20 is Michael O'Hara, a native of Los Angeles, raised in Hollywood, as a matter of fact, and for the past 30 years, he's made a career of successfully combining singles, dancing, and bars. His latest venture is Worldwide Champions. It's the epitome of a sports bar. Most of us are familiar with his poster in front of one of the main libraries or monuments in Washington, said, "Poverty sucks." That was Michael O'Hara, for those of you who have seen it. He's been written about in the New York Times, the Washington Post, Money, U.S., People magazine, and he's a legend in this city. And the man who's no less a legend, who's working to become the next Michael O'Hara, is Tommy Curtis. Tommy and I go back to WMAL-FM with the cruising and boozing and meeting and greeting. Tommy was a DJ. In addition to his work with WMAL-FM, he had some television exposure, too, on WMAL-TV, Channel 7, where he won 2 local Emmys for programs that he produced and hosted on Channel 7. And Tommy's also been in the motion picture business. He's from a motion picture family. He was born and raised in Beverly Hills and moved to Washington because he knew that Washington would be the city of the future. And he now operates a club called the Yacht Club in Bethesda. It's called an upscale watering hole for the sipping and dipping. And also a man who's fast becoming a legend, Bill Anton. He came to Washington from Detroit in 1981 to serve as chairman of the Taste of America segment of President Reagan's inauguration. And he opened Anton's Loyal Opposition in 1985, and in 3 years was voted the roll call newspaper #1 power restaurant. Duke would resent that, Bill, but as you told me, that was the #1 on Capitol Hill. I would tell you this, that his latest venture is an absolute smash success. It's called the 1201 Club on Pennsylvania Avenue. I was at his opening week in 1988, and I told everybody that would listen to me, this place will be a parking lot in 6 months. He'll never make it. He's on the wrong side of town with the wrong side of the street, and he's not going to do it. And you did it, Bill. Congratulations to you and Anton's 1201. So the introduction's out of the way. What do you think of Washington nightlife, Mike O'Hara?
Well, I think it used to be a little more the city. We're talking about the city, not the metropolitan area. I personally feel having...
But you're in the suburbs, too.
Yeah, and that's where the action seems to be from my perspective. Georgetown Champion still does great, but I can remember when everyone drove in from Montgomery County, PG, Arlington, Alexandria to the city. Now you've got areas, you have Tyson's Corner, you've got Bethesda where Tommy is, you've got Old Town. It's fragmented. So if you want to go out any night of the week and see where everybody is, it's impossible. I mean, it used to be you knew you could find where the things were. Also, it just doesn't seem that any of the hot clubs have been open downtown for the last few years. Now, Bill is catering to a different crowd than I do, and Tommy's been very successful out in Bethesda, but there's been nothing really opening up downtown.
Nothing new since Anton's 1201.
River Club was probably the last club.
Yeah, but that was before Bill Anton. How about
the Ritz? The Ritz. You've got the Ritz for the
disco.
Younger,
Well, there's a lot of discos.
Well, Michael has younger people.
There's a lot of. By
the way, I got to ask you this. I got to say this. You're looking at
California.
We're looking at 2 guys from California, and more. Oh, yeah, I heard Michael do this on sports the other day. He said, call in your children or something, a really important thing. Michael and I are responsible for, if you're watching tonight, we are responsible for maybe 20% of the children out there right now. We started in '67 with the first singles bars, and a lot of people out there are watching who owe it to us.
Grew up in a single seat. Well, you mean not personally you're responsible, but you
well, they met in our
brought people together.
Yeah. And then when I was sipping and dipping and meeting and greeting, I would say on WMAL-FM to go to one of his places on a certain night, or the Beowulf. Does that ring a bell? The Beowulf?
Oh, my God.
All these names from the past.
Don't be bringing them up. Anton is a newcomer on the street, but what an impression he's made. Have you ever had to card anybody at 1201?
Geez, I don't know. I don't think so, but I'll tell you, Tommy, about the Beowulf. When I used to come downtown, and I've been single for 10 years now, I hit that spot, so I know it well.
Thank you.
Van Farson would love to hear you say that,
really
too.
would.
How about you, Tommy? You ever carded anybody at the Yacht Club? Most of those people come in on crutches, don't they?
I used to work for him. He's very good at living.
Right.
No, I tell you, I can tell usually when somebody's over 25.
Right.
It's the yacht club, the success of the yacht club, I think Mike was trying to get into that just a moment ago,
Right.
is because we're all
Location,
Location, okay, but Fairfax now goes to Bethesda. Bethesda, Montgomery County goes there.
Right.
But there's no place other than the yacht club, I don't think, in the suburbs for the 25 or 28 to 45 set.
Probably
And that's
true.
and that's what's happening in our nightlife scene now. It's getting very segmented. I mean, Bill has dated, I would say, mostly dated people at Anton's, when you say
Whatever
couples.
that means, but our...
couples.
Couple.
Yeah.
You're not a singles place, correct?
No, we're not a singles place, but surprisingly, we do get singles people.
I'm sure.
It amazes me, but we do.
Mostly men or women?
Women singles.
What age group?
Our average,
Well,
our average customer is about 47 years old.
Oh, well.
A little bit too old.
You know,
with an expensive gift. Wait a minute,
Go ahead.
before we get to that, Tommy, before you all take over and completely get rid of me, let's take a break and we'll come back here and talk to